We're here at PXG, which is actually right by our radio station. It's a pretty cool place, and they had a cool event here today. Greg Gurley and a guy named Bill Self here today as well. What were you guys doing with the driving contest here today?
Well, we were using our present clubs and hitting in the bay, taking those distances and averages and how you hit it, and then replacing it with fitted PXG clubs and seeing what the difference was. And with both of us, I mean, we showed quite a bit of improvement. Of course, there's plenty of room for improvement with me, but quite a bit of improvement playing the PXG clubs. And then we took a driver challenge, and Greg was very proud of himself that, you know, he says he hit it further, but I mean, the fairway's 50 yards wide, and he didn't find one of them. So I'll say that I was the winner in the driving aspect of it.
What do they call it? Dispersal, I think was the term. Did I get that right? Side to side?
Well,
you were much better than him in that regard.
I mean, my first three drives were all within 18 feet. They said from left to right. The furthest two balls were 18 feet, and if I'm not mistaken, Greg, they didn't have a tape measure that was remotely long enough that they could even measure that. So I felt pretty good about that.
We're used to Greg being all over the place. Speaking of being all over the place, you guys have been traveling, and there's a lot of news on the Kansas athletics front here of late as well. First off, maybe just a summation. How were things in Puerto Rico for you guys?
San Juan was good. You know, we stayed in a nice place. We made camp there for a week. We practiced every day that we didn't play. Had really competitive games against the Bohemian national team, which went on and beat Argentina in their last game. Of course, they had DeAndre Ayton playing this time, and he didn't play against us, but same team other than that. So I felt good. I thought we played okay. We obviously gave away the last game, but it was good for us, and the locale was great, and the people were great. So it was a good trip.
Speaking of great locales, we're all pretty heartbroken about what's happened in Lahaina, and you doing something about it. You guys did this with Missouri with hurricane relief a while back, and now with Illinois. How did this one come together? What are your expectations this time around?
I think the expectations are very similar or even surpassing what we did with Missouri. Those fan bases came together, and we split it right down the middle. And, of course, this will not be split right down the middle. We'll have a KU section. But the reality of it is it'll be a Illini faithful filling the building for the most part, and we'll have 1,000 or 2,000 set aside for us, I'm sure, for our fans to buy. But it's good. It won't be a real game, but we'll both try to win. And Brad's a good friend, and we were going to scrimmage him anyway. We were having a private scrimmage on the 28th, and I called him and I said, "Hey, what do you think? Why don't we just turn this into a game?" And then we got clearance from the NCAA to do it the next day, and hopefully this will, trigger many contests across America to raise some money for the folks over there in the Lahaina.
There's a lot of momentum at Kansas Athletics right now, not just in basketball, the football program. People are excited about this season coming up. Travis Goff had this news conference about what they want to do with the football stadium. You've always been a big supporter of that. What are your thoughts on the plans?
Well, I think they're great. It's expensive. It's gonna take an unbelievable commitment to do what everyone wants to do. But I think we have the people in place. I think we have the plan, the strategy. We've tried to do a lot of things in the past when there wasn't really momentum to do those things. Lance and his staff have created an environment where there's actually momentum to do big things, and I think our football team is good. We're really gifted in certain positions, and the most important position, and we know all about that in Kansas City on how important that is. And we got a guy, Jalen Daniels needs to get healthy, but he's good too, and Bean's a good backup. He's a good player too. So we feel good about that, and we think our team's good. And I'd be really surprised if we don't have a terrific year.